Here's a question for you. How broke would you have to be to submit yourself to medical testing? Quick story, one time I was so broke that a friend of mine asked me to list the things I was capable of doing on a sheet of paper, like 50 things or whatever. And I listed male prostitute above waiter. That's pretty... I don't know what that says about me. Today we're talking about the new and improved Romie Futch by Julia Elliott. There's the name. This is a fantastic cautionary tale of what happens when somebody is at the end of their rope financially, emotionally, maybe even physically, and they submit themselves to medical testing of unknown origins with unknown consequences. Thrill ride. From very early on, even in school, we're asked about the future. What is it? What do we want from it? What do we think the future is for us? Our teachers want to know, our parents want to know, our friends want to know. What does the future hold? What is it to you? And that's the big question that this book asks over and over again, that Romie asks himself. The future can be many things to many people, but when you're limited in your avenues of obtaining a future, sometimes it leads us to a big ass hog. Oh, he's not that big. Whatever. Published in 2015 by Tin House Books. This book is essentially all about what happens if you don't have much of a future and you're forced to just take what comes your way. Romie Futch submits himself to this clinical research trial of which has unknown consequences. And part one is him at the clinical research studies, and it's pretty damn funny for a guy who has probably a pretty low IQ and not much going on in his life to becoming all of a sudden very erudite and esoteric in his deliveries. And in fact, the book employs these very, very obtuse or very large words that I've never used before, and it does so in such an organic and fun way. I wound up reading this along with my dictionary app open so I could figure out what he was talking about half the time, but he becomes so smart and it's so funny. I think what I love most about this story is that the clinical research facility serves as the engine of transformation. It's Romie Futch's last chance to make a future of himself, and it's not necessarily the one he was looking for. Then sort of begs the question, what do you do with a future you didn't ask for? What do you do with a future you didn't really want? I'm not going to get into what part 2 and part 3 is of the book because I don't want to ruin the plot, but suffice it to say that there is a huge hog called Hogzilla that makes an appearance. It is essentially Jaws in the form of a hog. I'm so glad I read it. It's probably one of the best books I've read this year. So I want to thank Mercedes over at Mercy's Bookish Musings. Ooh, I'm about to get sprayed on. Can you see that? That was for the hogs. I guess they like water. I don't know. Oh look, there they are. Hogzillas. Thanks for joining me today at the zoo in Los Angeles on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon. I give Romie Futch 3 out of 3 cats. What do you do when you have the education to obtain the future that you want, that you've always dreamed about? Like, I'm seriously asking, what do you do? Because I have no clue. My mother's been bugging me about this for years. I just don't know.